Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Coco in the Sun podcast. I am your host, Malika Critchlow. Again, very blessed and grateful to be here today on the podcast. Um, so again, I'm just gonna talk about today the things that I have been progressing through the past week. I think the last podcast was last Wednesday, so now my days off are Friday. So I'm going to try to do it Fridays and try to be consistent. If not, then maybe end the podcast. I don't know. I have my mind is back and forth with the whole thing because I enjoy doing them, but also like they're not like successful in YouTube terms. Um, So I'm wondering if that's a sign like I shouldn't do them, right? Because if you have success in things, then that's kind of the way you should be going, I'm thinking. Or is it testing my tenacity? Sometimes I just don't know how to read these things. Anyway, so that's the type of things I'm going through this week. If success and the things that I love and the things that I'm passionate about, if the exchange is in one that's reciprocated, is this something I should continue doing? Now, technically, if I really love doing something, it wouldn't matter if it's reciprocated, I would do it anyway. But I do seem to enjoy reciprocation. I like, I'm noticing now, and that's in friendships, in businesses, in work, and families. I do enjoy relationships that are reciprocated. So, it may not be reciprocated in the same way, but there's a balance or enjoyable exchange. And if it isn't, I don't tend to continue in that situation. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I feel like I am at that stage, not only with this, but with a lot of other aspects of my life that seems to be um a topic that I am trying to better understand and um, figure out the best way to move through it, right? So, but anyway, so that's one of the things I'm dealing with, or reciprocation and relationships, or things that I enjoy not being reciprocated. So, if I go round and round with it because I enjoy my walks and I don't really need any reciprocation in the walk. It's just me walking and I enjoy it. I don't have to be successful at it or win something. But for some reason, this podcast, I want there to be, I want it to be enjoyed by others. And the fact that it isn't really, I do think maybe I'm supposed to be doing something else and this is a sign, right? I do think that because. Isn't that like, don't they say that? Like when it just like flows, like when things are meant to be that way, like you're directed that way. So I'm in two minds about that. Um, other things I am dealing with. I think I mentioned before in the last podcast, I'm not sure, that we've entered into a new era or time. I had that understanding during one of my sleep wake times. This time, as I was dropping to sleep, sometimes it's right before I wake up. As I'm dropping to sleep, they are less common, but they do seem to be a lot clearer. So I got that. And I think so. I think that's what's going on. Also find like my moods with if something I'm trying to bring into my experience comes or doesn't come, that mood isn't consistent. So there are days when I'm really, really hopeful. I think it's gonna happen. There are days when I just trust the universe and I'm like, well, whatever happens, happens. And then there are days like I'm frustrated. I'm like, it's never going to happen. Like I'm so fed up with everything that I have been wanting not occurring. Um, and then had this thought that maybe this back and forth is also part of the process of how we grow and move or progress. This contracting and expanding and contracting and expanding. It's how the muscle stays healthy and alive and it's living. It's how we breathe. So maybe that process is also part of the creative process. And it's not expected to maintain just the expansion of it, right? Then it might atrophy that way. So it does have to come back and forth. Got that understanding or that thought the other day. So it would mean that the low moments are all part of the creation of all these things. So I do find that I am less patient with it coming to fruition now. I'm really annoyed that it's not um, specifically one aspect of my life. And I'm just like, yes, I'm grateful, but also this is not what I asked for. And then I understood that we're supposed to take all the seasons, just like the tree does, and use it to its best benefit to find the nutrients in it and use it to grow. So then I have that understanding. So I go back and forth. I just go back and forth. And the trees have been giving me a lot of messages I noticed. So I don't know. I think I mentioned a year ago or so that I had a dream, and the dream said the trees want to help with my healing. It was very, very clear. It was one of those, um, what you call it, clairaudient dreams where I heard it said that the trees want to help with your healing. Ever since that, I make sure I go for walks every day. And on the days that I'm off, I try to go to the park where they have like these huge, beautiful trees. So just recently, I've started putting like my palms on the tree just to see if they have a message. I just put my palm on and it said, any messages? And I've been getting not like I don't hear anything, but just thoughts that come when I do that. So like, um, had one where I understood that the tree was both rooted in the ground, taking nutrients from the ground, and in the air, taking the sun as it moves up. So it's both deep and growing deeply and upward. And that I needed to do that, not only grow in one direction, but in both. I needed to um, take the nutrients of below and use it to help me grow and take the nutrients from above too. So I can be this big, mighty being existing. This, I don't have to be big, but I am sure of myself, sturdy and strong in myself. Um, so I got that from the tree. And there was a tree that was big and beautiful too, but they had like carved into it their names, and it looked like the tree. You know, sometimes it's carved in, but it doesn't look like it hurt, but this looked like it hurt. Even where it was carved, it was like a dark brown and the tree was light brown. It looked like the tree was hurt, like it was healing, like it was cut. It had so many carvings on it, even like lengthwise. There was like um, deep scarring to the tree, but it was still massive. And it wasn't like the scarring was still superficial. Like the thickness of the tree was so thick and the trunk was so thick that even though it was scarred, it was still not really damaged, right? It was superficial. And the tree was still massive and still being fed and being nourished and not smaller or diminished in any way. And so I just understood that even though we're scarred and we've been hurt, that it doesn't have to be deep. We don't have to let it. block our nourishment, our growth, our thriving. We don't have to, I mean, it could, but we don't have to let it. And I really love that. And even though the tree was scarred, it was still massive and still growing and not limited by the scarring. And then another one, uh, another day walking and I touched the tree and there was a caterpillar living on the tree and there were birds in the tree and lizards in the tree and ants on the tree. And I was like, this tree is providing home and food and nourishment to others, but in no way was it depleted or less than or diminished. Like it had so much to share that so many people or so many beings could live off of it, and it still wasn't affecting the tree, and the tree was still being a tree. It didn't have to change or be anything else to share itself with others. It just had to be itself and thrive in being itself. And in that thriving, it was able to give so much to others without it didn't even feel like it was giving, it was just being. So that was a beautiful message as well. I wish to be so strongly connected to myself and thriving that I'm able to be love to others in such a way that it doesn't diminish me in any way or hurt me in any way, but it's just a part of my being. So I really got that. And then, well, last night I didn't go for a walk. I was just looking at my little sunset like I like to do in the evenings and just pondering why I'm still in, I'm still in the situation, not creating fully the life that I would like to enjoy. And understood that just like the tree is able to survive in windy and rainy and stormy and sunny and all types of weather and just be and take what it needs from each weather and grow with it. Um, I need it to be the same. Although I guess some weathers are so bad it does damage the tree. So maybe that's all a part of it too. I don't know. That's what I got last night. So between last night and now, I've gone through so many phases of being really excited about what's coming and also like why it's not, hey, how much longer do I have to wait? And can I wait without doing something that might make my situation worse? So, um, because of my unhappiness, um, with this certain work situation, like, I don't want to quit and end up, worried about money, but also like I do not enjoy being there. I keep trying to find joy there. I've been trying to find, if I can't find joy, just find peace. And um, one second. Just find peace. So some days I'm able to just find the peace there. But sometimes I'm just not able to, you know? Anyway, I do think just like the time when I was not working, again, there's so many processes through this phase that you have to go through to better understand yourself and how you create things and how you trust and surrender, how you build your confidence and your knowing. It's the same thing that's going on here, but it does feel like it's never ending. But it did feel never ending when I wasn't working too. So there's that. So anyway. What else have I? Oh, so then I had this other understanding too the other day. I was watching this podcast and they were talking about telling the universe what you want and just put it out there so the universe knows. And while I was watching it, I was like, but I also like to ask the universe, what is good for me? What would I enjoy most? Can you show me all the good that's for me and what that looks like? Because I've had that, like, um, the thing with the divine partner, which hasn't manifested yet, um, where I just asked who, um, if I have a divine partner, who would it be? And I understood what would be a really good relationship for me, the type of person, and even like the issues that they do have, how those issues would be issues that would be compatible with my issues. It was a really beautiful understanding. Now it hasn't come into fruition yet, but because I have this understanding of what it is, this answer, then people that are not similar or that I just don't feel that way for. Whereas I would have because I didn't have that understanding. So kind of know like what is for me and what isn't for me in that way. So when they were saying they were asking the universe for this, that, and the other, I thought it was really, cool that you do that. But now I have find like asking the universe like what is good for me, where would I thrive, what would make me happy, what would be a loving experience for me, um, you know, and seeing what they show you or what it shows you, appears to be even more fulfilling than what I think I would enjoy. So yeah, so that asking the universe, what's for me? What's good for me, career-wise? Like, I definitely know I don't enjoy this job, but I might ask the universe for a job, um, like in a certain place or a certain time or a certain amount of money. But instead, I've been asking, what is a bliss-filled career for me? Like, what is a joy-filled career for me? Like, where am I happiest? What will make me the happiest? Um, what will be my show me my soul prosperity career-wise? Stuff like that. I think it's showing me something, but again, this thing that I've been seeing a pattern of, and the pattern does seem to be increasing because they showed me one person that lived that life, and I was like, oh yeah, I really do I would thrive in that type of life. Then they showed me another person similar, same career, and how they live their life. And I'm like, yeah, I really love that. That's like reinforcement of um the first person they showed me and what I would really, really enjoy and had not thought of at all. Or hadn't given serious thought. I kind of did before in the past, but I hadn't really been successful at it. So I just like dismissed it. And I find that to be coming back around. So I've been attempting, I don't want to say what it is yet because I haven't gotten much movement there yet. So I'm like also asking myself, okay, if there's no improvement here, is this something I should still be pursuing? Because I'm more into the effortless creation and the flow of things, and everything feels like an uphill battle of efforting. Um, and efforting, not an inspired efforting, not efforting that I enjoy, right? So trying to figure out if that's a sign that that's not something for me and I'm misreading what I'm being shown, or if some efforting is indeed required, even efforting that you don't enjoy in order to get there. So I'm still figuring it all out. So I don't know. But they do seem to be sharing that this is going to bring me the joy that I want, the life that I want, the way that I enjoy living. So I'm going to stick with it a little bit longer and see where it goes. also going to stick with the job a little bit longer to see how that opens up for me. I really didn't, so I didn't love the job, but I could deal with it. It wasn't awful, but there's so many changes at work now that I'm like, it's really making me enjoy it less. But I need to find my peace there. I need to find my peace until something else opens up, another opportunity that's better for me. But anyway, back to the point, right? So now I'm at a point where I am asking what's good for me, what the universe or God or the divine or my divine team and my guides and angels think, or my soul um thinks. I want them to show me, like, so what would I enjoy? What do you have in mind for me? What would you propose would bring me the best or most joy? Or do you want me to tell you? So yeah, so I'm playing with those two things right now too. A lot of back and forth. Well, a lot of this, right? So hopefully through all of this, somehow I grow, I get stronger in my knowing. But yeah, so a lot of back and forth with that. Um, what else? So I don't really follow too much of um, those spiritual communities, but I saw there was an uproar last week about some, or the last 2 weeks, sorry, about one of those spiritual leaders. So I don't know. I don't know. I think everybody is a spiritual guru. And of course, in the beginning, we do need people that been through things to share their experiences to see if we can find something that resonates and helps us along our way. And even now, like I still look at other people's processes and how they discover things. And sometimes they align, sometimes they don't align. A lot of times, so now I really just like being within myself and seeing and developing that communication with my own divine team, as I shared with y'all before. But a supposed spiritual leader set them on fire with a throuple situation, and there's been a lot of discourse, and what would I say? Discourse and um diagnosing of these individuals and where they are in their process and what they said, you know, and this diagnosing may be correct or not. I don't know. I really don't know. Um, but I was thinking about the idea of the Trinity, the three, the relationships between three, and how, that played out throughout history, or, myth-wise and um religious theory-wise, right? And I had this understanding that when the Trinity comes into play, and I don't know, I have to research this. This was just an understanding I had, a random thought one day laying in bed, that Trinities work when there are two entities um, in harmony with each other and create a third entity. That creation being part of the first two, and that being a Trinity. Um, But as I was Googling Trinities, it said that there were actually three separate beings that were in harmony with each other, or one being that was divided into three, and that it wasn't two separate beings creating a third. So that's a different perspective from what I got. And I think that's the intellectual or academic understanding of it. But I'm not sure if it was fully understood prior. So, or that it's just two different understandings of it, of looking at it two different ways. Um, so that's where I am with that whole throttle thing. For me, if I'm, dealing with myself and not their situation per se, but what their situation kind of triggered for me to ponder is the dynamic of the Trinity relationship, the aspects of a Trinity relationship, which I think is kind of weird because I'm from Trinidad, which is called Trinidad when Columbus saw it, the three hills, the Trinity. So yeah, so I'm curious about this whole how the Trinity, the three um pair, the three, I can't even say pair because it's three. How trinities work and how they're created and how do they harmonize. It has been my experience when I am in a friend group of three that there's always two that are more aligned and one that's left out. And that's in my own like personal experience. It doesn't feel like a balanced system. Um, so I'm not sure how it works relationship wise or romantic relationships and romantic relationships. But I don't think it's something that I am supposed to process right now. Because as I was thinking about it, but the people themselves in this throuple. A song came into my head. It was like, it's this old dub song from when I was younger, like in my teens. It's like, leave people business alone. Leave people business and mind your own. That came into my head immediately as I started thinking of their specific situation and what she must be feeling and I my own diagnosing of what he is and this other third person that's in it and that song came right in. So I think that situation became popular or widely known so that we can discern where we are in ourselves and what's right for us. It doesn't mean that we all have the same understanding of what's right for us. And for me, it's more of a question of how Trinity relationships work, how they work. For me, I think they work by the two beings creating a third. Um, but then, I'm curious to see how the three beings harmonize, like what Google said, like it's three separate beings that harmonize, or one being that's three separate aspects. So I think that's where I'm going to look into these things some more from my own curiosity. But as in opinions on that situation, I've been directed that that's not my concern. It's not my concern. But it's their own journey for their own self-discovery, you know. And so that's all in regards to that. What do you guys think about this whole Trinity thing, though? How does that work? Do you think it's three separate beings that harmonize, or one being that's three different aspects of itself that harmonize? Or, and the reason why I say it's two beings that create one, because they say the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But I think the Holy Spirit is feminine. So I think it's the Father, Mother, and then the Son, really, is what it is. But I think it was misinterpreted by a patriarchal, I can't pronounce it, patriarchal society, that they're all kind of like male aspects. And I was looking at Isis, Osiris, and Horus, and how they also form a trinity. But then when you look at the Hindu version, there's Brahma, Shiva, and is it Vishnu? That's also a trinity with three men, and they all have, one's the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer. So there's not a feminine aspect there. They all have feminine counterparts. They all have feminine counterparts. But the trinity is three of them is these three male aspects. So that's why I still have to look into this. But that's what came out of this whole throuple thing, my own curiosity and how that works and the systems and how those systems work. Um, so yeah. So that's what I'm dealing with this week. Back and forth with why my creation is not in my experience. Trusting and surrendering that it's going to come in the best way for me, or if not, it's something even better. Asking the universe to show me what would make my life best. Asking for confirmation and if what I think the universe and the divine team is telling me is correct. Um, is efforting unhappily part of the creation process, or is it effortless creation or inspired effort where I enjoy it, which then would be effortless because I wouldn't feel like I'm efforting. Um, and the messages from the trees. So that's where I'm at. I don't know where you guys are. Yes, and reciprocation in all aspects of my life right now, questioning if it's a sign that I need to stop something or not. Does it mean I'm still to continue? Which would kind of play into the effort or effortless creation. Anyway, so that's where I'm at this week. Let's see what happens next week. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and that you are gentle with yourself, that you are loving to yourself, that you take time with yourself. You try to understand what you're learning and processing, identify, identify, you know, what messages you're getting to better understand yourself and hopefully live a better, more fun-filled, love-filled, bliss-filled, joy-filled life. If that's what you want. Maybe you don't want that. To live the life that you want. I'll say that. I got also understandings in my dreams of this morning, especially. There was like, it was like a computer that was trying to upload a program, but it couldn't upload it without the update. And then the update came. And once the update came, the program ran smoothly. I don't know if that's telling me I'm updating. I hope so. Updating to something good and more fun. Um, that'd be so cool. It'd be so cool too if I was told it in that way. It was a kind of cool way to tell me that. Um, got a clear understanding how someone who's not in my life anymore really sees me. I actually saw the person in the dream telling somebody what they thought about me. And it wasn't something I thought that they thought about me, but I wasn't that surprised by it. I was like, oh, I just thought they thought of me not any better, but in a different way. And I was like, well, that's clear, and I understand that quite clearly now. But I didn't feel affected in terms of being sad about it or upset, or it was more like, oh, that's really good to know that's how that person sees me. And I don't need to question, well, does this person think this or think that? I know what they think. So it's kind of a nice, peaceful place to be, to understand. I don't know if that's, what is that called in dreams? Is it telepathy? Telepathy, but in your dreams, where you could see if somebody thinks of you? Um, yeah. So it wasn't bad. It was just like, oh, I didn't think they thought that, but that's good to know that they think that. And it must be frustrating for them not to be able to voice it because I think they think it's a bad thing to say out loud, but they do think that. But I'm not in contact with this person really anyway, so doesn't make a big thing about it. But I was glad that my guides and teachers and my angels shared this with me so that I wouldn't misinterpret this person's actions or be too naive with them. So it's really cool. Not in a bad way, it's just cool to know. And so yeah. So that's been happening, which is awesome. Oh, so I feel like there's progress there with the communication that I'm getting, but also like I still don't understand some of the dreams and what it's trying to tell me, and I still don't understand like the lives that they're showing me that I think they're telling me this is what is the life that I would enjoy. Um, I'm not 100% sure that I'm understanding it correctly. I think it is, and it would be great if it is, but my life isn't showing me opportunities in that way. So let's trust and see. I mean, it would be great. It would be great. It's true. Anyways, have a great evening and we'll chat again next week. God willing. God willing. Okay, bye.